You may have seen in the news recently a company based in Wisconsin allowing employees the opportunity, if they so choose, to get a microchip implanted in them. If you've read about it, it's about talking about them being able to access technology, opportunities, computer usage, doors at the company, but getting a lot of play. We have Chief Operating Officer Patrick McMullan here Skyping into the studio with 3 Square Market. I appreciate you taking the time, Patrick. How are you today?
I'm great. I appreciate you having me today.
Well, you've been on the media circuit. You literally had the microchip implanted on air on the Today Show. Did it hurt?
It actually, just quickly to describe, they pinch it together like this, and the commercial, they were transitioning out of commercial, and so I was getting pinched like that for about 90 seconds. That actually hurt, so my hand was numb by the time they did it. I was fine.
So talk with us. Again, this has garnered so much national, international attention. Walk us through the company's decision to let this be available to employees. Maybe start off talking a little bit about the company itself and then the decision to go down this road.
Certainly. We specialize in self-checkout technology, so we do that in a couple of different arenas. And we were overseas with one of our clients in Europe, and they said, we have this client that wants to use RFID chips to use at your kiosk. And I said, okay, we already do that. And they said, well, there's one more caveat. It's embedded in their hand. And I said, whoa. Kind of took a step back. And the reality is that it's being used internationally. And when they're far more advanced, and we took the time and started looking into the options and what it could do. And we said, as I've said many times, why not us? There's many uses. Why not us?
Are there any other companies in the United States currently doing this, Patrick?
There are different groups of people, and I say groups, that have done it, but there are none that we're aware of that are companies that have both offered it and looking to develop it and take it to market.
So what does this mean for the employees? Talk with us about how you presented it. What percentage of the employees at 3 Square Market kind of raised their hand and said, sign me up?
Okay, well, as we started looking at this, we had to bring in our IT folks. And our IT folks, they're the ones that really said, let's get it implanted. We need to understand how to use this if we even want to consider it. And so they're the ones that said it, and as it kind of got brought to the next group of people, we're a group of innovators. I just finished a meeting with our employees just a little bit ago, and even the ones that have chosen not to do it, they've said, we're in. I mean, we're here to help be part of the solution, even if it's the folks that have just adamantly said we're against this. They have said that we're going to keep you in line. What does it do? Accesses doors today. It logs me into my computer. I literally hold my hand under the computer, it logs me in, and they obviously use our self-checkout system.
So when you have it in your hand, and I think I asked you before, it's sort of in between the thumb and the forefinger, yes?
Yeah, even if I kind of, it's literally about where I'm pointing at right now. So I'm not someone that's going to dig around to find it, but I can't feel it.
So you can't feel it. And let's talk a little bit about next steps. So if you have this technology, can it be tweaked from elsewhere? Can something be done remotely to allow you to start your car? What can be done now that folks have the chip actually in their hands?
Well, we want to challenge Tesla to work with us to help start their electric cars. And I mean that in all sincerity. That may sound out there, but one of the initiatives that we're taking aggressively on right now is that we're already unlocking doors here at our office. What stops me from being able to put that in my house where I could walk in? I eliminate the key mechanism. The only way to get in is you've got the RFID chip, and to me that's even a higher degree of security. So that's one of the areas. There's others coming.
And so you've heard it in the media too, and we've talked about a little bit about it. You know, those folks who've raised concern saying, oh, is this Big Brother? Can they check me when I'm going to 7-Eleven, or if I'm supposed to be on my break and I'm someplace else? What do you say to folks who raise those concerns about privacy?
First of all, the one thing we stress to everybody is everybody's entitled to their opinion. We need to be very respectful of that, and that's something that every day, every morning, it's all over my desk, it's all over my mirrors at home. Be respectful, but that considered. This is a passive device that's in my hand and that our employees have, which means passive device has no GPS functionality. You can't even do anything to update that. If people are concerned about GPS, then this amazing thing right here, my smartphone, let's just call it what it is. That smartphone, different things you do on that, you have probably over 50 instances that you probably even have done yourself today that have been tracked or being tracked. So Big Brother's been around. The reality is this gives you an avenue to take it off.
And so, as you said, it's passive. So if there are technological updates, can something be done remotely? How often do folks have to go in and maybe have the chip tinkered with or removed?
Great question, and one of the most frequent ones. So it's the most common question that we answer is how often am I going to have to upgrade that chip? Well, let's put it this way, that we're at the beginning of this. I do expect that I'm going to have to take the one out that I have, and before we have a product that we're going to market in mass, we're going to have a chip that's going to be sustainable for years. The reality is it is something that can be transmitted to and be updated. So if I want to update the information in that chip, I can do it simply with whatever program I use to update it. And so that can be done as frequently as we need it to.
And so you talked about the response, and as you said, the chips have just been inserted into the employees. Who actually does the insertion? You're going to have to go to, is it going to be doctors? Who's going to be skilled with the chip implementation?
It depends by state. First of all, this is a very gray area, and one of the things that has been an activity of mine has been to working with the different governing bodies, that both state and we even have reached out on a federal level for legislation and regulation as to this. Currently today, a licensed body piercer can do it, and that's the small community of people that have that. That's how it's been inserted. We did have a nurse on staff on site here yesterday, that in the event that their services were needed. But I fully expect that we're going to see more regulation around this, and we want to be active in that to make sure this isn't just something that comes and becomes rogue, that this is something done respectfully, responsibly, because when done the opposite, it's reckless, and reckless is dangerous.
So talk to us, since this has been announced, since you've been doing this, you said you've gotten an overwhelming reaction. What have you heard from folks, and what's the interest in the company? What's your role in sort of the new microchip world order moving forward?
Well, the interest has been incredible. I can tell you, I'm getting about a half dozen inquiries an hour right now from people that have interest of some sorts of, can you do this, can it do that? We got a certified letter today from a business in the Southeast United States that wants to partner with us, and they wanted to make sure that we got it. The best way to say it is what is our role? The first thing is to start this, and I think the one thing that is important to this is that it's being discussed. This is real solutions here, and I don't know about you, it sure beats some of the discussions that have been out there on mainstream media. This is a real solution. It's being used in other parts of the world and used safely. We can use it here, and we can do things. And as I described, everything. And someone said, okay, we're giving something that's non-invasive where it could really benefit society. Well, let's say that you fast forward and we have this device and you're injured in an accident, you're incapacitated for some reason. You have medical information that's critical. If you're being treated for a heart condition, medications, any of those different things. An Uber driver in Atlanta, Georgia, was the one, as I got in a conversation with her about this, and she said to me is, if I had that information, it could save critical medical treatment 5 to 7 minutes, which is the difference between life and death. And that's an extreme situation, but the reality is it's a practical solution, and it's something that we're working on, and that's just one example.
So do you think that, Patrick, this is a road that eventually everyone will go down? Do you really see yourselves, again, at the forefront of this new technology, and as you said, kind of bringing the story to the public?
Yes, yes, I do. I wouldn't be, I think that within a decade, I wouldn't be surprised that you could see half the population have that. And when you think back 10 years ago where your phone was at, where is it now? It dominates your life. I mean, if you walk down the street, I see that it's in your hand. The media was all here yesterday that all the functionality of your broadcast is being run through that phone. The reality is I see this in that half our population in a decade is going to have some form of this.
You know, it's funny. I think folks oftentimes think on either texting or on Facebook. I keep notes on here. This is how my producer gets in touch with me to know if guests are running late. Gives me key information. Again, we're not operating with any teleprompters. We're straight to the people here. And as you said, right from your phones. So as you said, you know, getting so many calls, fielding so many calls, anything else we should know to watch for moving forward? Again, you're out in Wisconsin. We're here in Rhode Island. What should we be looking for?
Well, the first thing that I think that you're going to see is a lot more discussion about this. I mean, if you back up 12 days ago, this wasn't even on the radar. Now you're going to see it, and what else can be done with this? And the reality is we have products that are going to be used. They're going to come out. So I think your first thing you're going to hear from us is that here's an actual product. This just wasn't some fad. Someone asked me and said, was this just a marketing ploy to sell more self-checkout technology? And while I think it's certainly going to help that business, it's not why we did it. Why we did it is there's real life applications. So I think the first step is going to be product. The second step is we're going to be very proactive, ensuring that this is done responsibly. And I don't like to use it lobby or legislate or whatever it is, but if done recklessly, it's dangerous. So that's probably step number 2 right behind that, is to ensure that we're leaders in ensuring that this never gets out of hand. I can never say never to anything, but I tell your audience, we have a real commitment. It's not idle speech. It's real commitment to doing this right and responsibly.
Well, I appreciate, you know, I was reached out as we're innovating digital media here. I wanted to reach out to you, innovating, you know, technology, human technology out there in Wisconsin. And as you said, perhaps we're probably going to see a bigger conversation moving forward on this. And as I said, I know you had the chip implanted on the Today Show, so we really appreciate your bringing the conversation right here into the studio to our viewers. So Patrick, we appreciate your time, and hopefully we'll speak with you soon.
We'd love to, anytime. If you have more questions, feel free to reach out. Thanks for your time today.
Okay, Patrick McMullan with three square